Alright, before I start my long story time and rant, I want to point something out. Bangs, can we just take a moment to appreciate that they're like really swoopy today and they're just doing really, really well. I'm happy about that.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about stuff. Sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's serious. But don't worry about us getting too formal. We're only here to make it normal.
Ladies.
Story time. Last week I was taking an exam. And it was like an online one. It was weird, but I had to be in with the TA and whatnot so they knew I wasn't cheating, because that's what you do in college. You get watched while you take exams, because that's just how things work. So I'm just sitting there on the computer, like, doing my thing, and then my TA walks over. He's like, Macey, I didn't know you were engaged. What? Oh, this is from my grandma. Like, it's from my grandma. It's the only finger it fits on. I promise you I'm not engaged. No, it's not a promise ring either, so don't expect that. It is just a Macey loves her grandma ring. As are these two. This is one grandma, these two are the other grandma. There's supposed to be another one here, but I lost that ring. I didn't lose it. It's like right there. I can see it right now. Anyways, that's not the point. But the point is, I got to thinking, because someone had assumed I was engaged because of a left-hand ring, but it got me thinking about relationships and what it means to be in one, especially one that's mature and healthy. And I mean, I know all about this because, like, my sim couples, they've never gotten a divorce. Obviously, I'm a matchmaker. I mean, I know some things, like, I know you don't have to have a physical relationship, you don't have to have a material relationship, you don't have to have a widely known relationship for it to be a legitimate thing. With the engagement ring, this could have been a wedding ring, an engagement ring, a promise ring. There's so many rings that go along with relationships. Like a wedding ring, alright, I understand, you've gotten married, like, people know. Then engagement rings, to me, they're like a pre-marriage ring. Because when you get engaged, you're like making the promise that you will get married. But then a promise ring is like a pre-engagement ring? Because you're making the promise to be faithful and loving and whatnot for a long time. And it's like a promise to get engaged, which is a promise to get married. So a promise ring is like a promise. It's like a pre-marriage, it's like a pre-engagement. So it's like, why, if you're gonna do a promise ring, isn't that the same as like an engagement ring? Except, isn't it the same as an engagement ring? So if you're gonna do a promise ring, why not just pop the question now? They're weird to me. Like, why make a secondary promise? Like, if you can't promise to get married to me right now, then how can you promise to get engaged at a later point? So what is this promise even doing? Like, is this necessary? Do I need this? Do you think we're gonna get married? Like, what? They're weird to me. And I feel like a lot of people, at least my age-ish, promise rings, even sometimes engagement rings, are largely just a material thing for the relationship to attach to? I don't get it. You have to have that ring to know that someone loves you? Or what if they give you a rose? Is that not good enough? Does this rose not say I love you? I think it does. Is it less than the engagement ring because you can't keep a ring with you always? And because it's probably gonna die? Don't ever look at the symbolism in a rose or any kind of flower, because it will die. That's not saying your relationship is gonna die. It might. It's like a decent chance that it will, but there's also a decent chance that it won't. It's like 50-50, assuming you know what you're doing. Anyways, whatever. But is a ring really necessary in any context? Do you have to have that material bond, assuming you have the emotional bond? And is a large part of a ring just so others know? Is it for you? Do you have to have that ring to know that you and Sean are together? Or do you know it? Is that ring so that everyone else knows that you and Sean are together? Because, I mean, if you already know it, and Sean already knows it, is the ring so other people know it? Because I don't think other people need to know. Relationships, I feel, are a private matter. They should be between you and Sean, or you, Sean, and Blake. If you're polyamorous, I don't know. But why would other people need to know? If you really feel like other people need to know, there's probably an underlying issue there. If you want other people to know, you think that you're not sure? That's always what I assume. I mean, if you know you're committed and your partner knows he or she is committed, does everyone else have to know? Do your parents have to know? Does your best friend have to know? Does your dog need to know? You should tell the dog. Hello, Fido. How's he gonna feel if one day Sean just moves in and he had no idea this was coming? Just suddenly like, oh, another mouth to feed, another leg to sniff. Are you gonna be taking me outside now? Am I okay with this? Better tell that dog. Cats too. So, you know, it will just give you the stink eye. Besides the emotions, a lot of relationships, healthy, unhealthy, serious, not, have physical sides too. And whether that physical side is a home run or first base, you don't have to have a physical relationship, just so long as you do have an emotional relationship with that. Once your relationship gets to be purely physical, you're with this person, and you have a very, very physical relationship. You'll talk when you have to, but more often than not, you're getting physically close instead of emotionally. What if, say we're still with Sean, what if one day Sean gets in an accident and he's paralyzed from the neck down? Are you still gonna love Sean even though he can't have a physical relationship? If you question your love due to a lack of physical relationship, you might want to check your priorities. I don't think that relationship is one that's mature and healthy. I mean, physical relationships are always going to be healthy. You need to have relationships of all kinds. Not necessarily sexually physical. Emotional is going to be a lot more to you. Sean can't do it now. That doesn't mean that he's going to be any less for conversation for the next 50 years that you could be together. Can't be with Fido that long, so you just gotta make sure you pay attention to him too. He's got to approve of Sean, or Blake, or both. Jordan, Alex. I'm trying to think of like gender neutral names here. That's about all I can think of. Anyways, if you're ever questioning a relationship, think about the ratio. How much do we have physical relations versus emotional? I don't know. You have to know what's best for you. A healthy relationship is generally going to be even to more emotional, because then you know anything happens, you're still going to have something to talk about. When you're 90 and you're both old and arthritis-y, all you're going to want to do is talk. You're not really going to want to do much else. My parents, they were never dating until Dad proposed. It was never a thing. People knew that they were together, but they weren't dating. They were just together. They were cool. They were best friends. They're still best friends. A healthy, committed, mature relationship is always going to be better for you than an unhealthy, immature one. In a town close to my town, there's this 8-year-old. She got pregnant by a 16-year-old. I don't know how that works. Okay, I know how it I know the diagrams. He was twice her age. I mean, granted, it's only an 8-year difference. That'll be no big deal once they're like 40. But when you're 8 and 16, he has been around twice as long as you. And he has like maybe gone through puberty at least a little bit. Whereas 8-year-old, you like just got out of diapers. So you just have to know. You have to know what's comfortable. You have to know what's legal. You have to know where you stand emotionally, where you stand with each other. who no shit's given to anyone else. I mean, think a little Fido. He's the only one that matters because he lives with you. He's gonna live with you. You are his life. You are his mama or his daddy. He needs to know exactly what you're doing. Now that that's over, I want you to make it normal by keeping it weird.